So I'm curious, how far have any of you gotten through the assignments in the course so far?
Yeah, I'm still on assignment one. Actually, I'm reading the introduction and I'm doing what you suggested. Read the book a couple of times and then start going into it. And for me, I know enough about woodworking to be dangerous, and I'm taking this basically to get an updated refresher course before I touch anything every
Okay,
time I do it. And
sure.
I'm very, very impressed with the book. In fact, I've got it right here.
Right.
And it's really good. I love the pictures. They're a lot better than some of the other ones we've had, so I do appreciate that. Wish there
Uh,
were more, but I understand why there's not.
well, yeah, I mean, it's a balancing act between, I mean, if I had any more pictures, I'd had put it more in one volume. And, but, so,
I understand. I used to develop curriculum material before I retired,
okay.
so I know that. Just one very, I mean, totally minor thing. You show a picture of using the square to align the table against a saw blade. One of the things that I've run into periodically, and it's just my own thing, I tend to not put the square between a tooth. I end up accidentally putting it on a tooth, and then my alignment's off.
Yep, that's true. But
So if you were
I
going to do a revision, I would say, yeah, just add a comment there. Other side of that, this is golden for me.
sure. Well, I put that in there as an app that I would originally I wasn't even going to mention using the saw blade, because it just works a whole lot better using the disc sanding disc, and but you know on the off chance that somebody had a disc sander disc that just wasn't totally flat, and so they didn't have to just not be able to do it. I put that in there about the blade, but I don't really expect people to use the blade to do the alignment. I expect people to use the disc sanding disc.
Yeah, well, some of us have only got one sander disc and it's already got paper on it. So if I have to take the paper off to do that, it's not gonna be real effective for me.
That's true, but the thing is that I mean I understand what you're saying. Um, I did this from the approach of somebody getting a new machine from the factory from Shopsmith. They get their new machine, they've got they can they that was kind of the approach. But yeah, people that have already had it for a while, yeah, you have to take that off. Now me, I just have an extra disc. I have an extra sanding disc that I just use for alignment only. And I don't and then I have three others. I have one for an 80, a 60, 80, 100 grit. But most people don't have that. I understand that. So, but that's a good point. I'll make a note of that uh, when and if a revision comes up on it. I hope I don't have to do a revision. Uh, this course was done in such a way to kind of preclude having to do a lot of revisions because um, the field testers, there were six of them, six field testers, and they were given one assignment a week. So they were given plenty of time to do an assignment. Um, it was under the supposition that people are working full-time jobs and they're doing this in their spare time. So, you know, it's rare that somebody's going to sit down and do, you know, six assignments in a week unless they're, retired and don't have anything else to do. So the people that did it, you know, they uh, now they had the people that the field testers, they didn't have the benefit of videos like you have. Those first 20 lessons, assignments, which is also on table saw, were done solely from the written assignment. They had no videos whatsoever. I didn't even start making videos till it got to horizontal boring. I didn't even. That was kind of Second, I gotta turn off my alarm here. Okay. Yeah. So, people asked about videos from the beginning when we were doing. I said, well, I can add those later, but I want this to be a standalone course that don't, it's not dependent on videos because that's the true test of whether your written material is any good or not, is if people can do it and understand it without having videos. And so those first 20 were done without videos. And so kind of the pattern was set on the standard of writing, so that that carried forward into the future ones. So uh, it ended up when the course was completed that there's material, there's written material that is not in the videos. There's material in the videos that is not in the written material. Um, and and then of course you combine that with these monthly Zoom meetings, having all that in there, you really get the full benefit of it. But if somebody just, for example, I had somebody call me yesterday. They were inquiring about the 5-foot connector tubes that I have for sale, and he's blind. He's a shopsmith owner. He's had it for 40 years, and he's totally blind. And he does woodworking on a shopsmith. And I was intrigued by this guy. And so, it, he for him to get my course, he can't read the book, he can't look at the videos, so he wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff. But I mean, he hasn't always been blind. This is over the years he's become blind. So, but he still says he's. So I asked him, "What are you going to get? What are you going to do with 5-foot connector tubes? Are you doing large sheet goods?" He says, "Yeah, every once in a while I'll do large sheet goods." And I've read before about blind people doing woodworking, and they do it all by feel. Everything's done by feel. He's got a he's got a device he does that for setting his measurements. Each click moves it a 16th of an inch, and that's how he does his measurements. And so you can. It's really amazing what you can do when you put your mind to something. Okay.
It'd be interesting to see a blind person cutting a sheet good.
Well, anyway, uh, so okay. How about the rest of you? How far of any of the rest of you gotten through the assignments? Any questions?
So Stephen, I'm probably in about the same position as Ron is. I've been looking over the material, reading it. I've watched the videos as well. What's kind of maybe difficult for me, maybe it's difficult for everyone else as well, is I've been using my Shopsmith for a while. For me, it's been like 5 years now, and it almost seems like you're kind of backtracking a little bit, but I think I'm learning things that I probably should have known the first time, but didn't really understand them in depth. So that's what I think I'm going to get out of this. If that makes sense.
That was a kind of a common comment I had from field testers. The field testers I had a variety of field testers. I mean, I had men, I had women, I had different ages. Um, I had people that had, like Hank Rasmussen. Um, some of you may be familiar with seeing him on in various places. But Hank Rasmussen, he's been doing this for 40 years, and uh, he was he did it right from the beginning. Just I sold every field test. I want you to pretend like you've never done work before and do it from the beginning. And he did, and he said I learned stuff that I didn't know about my machine. I've been using my machine for 40 years, and I learned things about this that I just did not know before. And so I got those for pretty common comments from people that had had the machine for a while. And then, of course, people that are brand new to it. Um, I had one, she had just gotten her machine delivered to her house like 2 weeks before she started as a field tester. So she's starting from unboxing it and doing it. And I heard the common frustration of it, of every brand new owner the first time they have a machine. Because she'd say, I'm just so intimidated by all this nomenclature, all the names of the stuff, and I read the manual, and I heard that, and I remembered back when I was a brand new owner, just got my shop suite. The same thing. I remember reading, okay, do your trunnion lock, and say, what's a trunnion lock? Do uh, uh, your table height lock, your quill lock, all that kind of stuff. And I remember having to go back and forth between the diagrams and stuff. That's part of the learning process of learning a shopsmith. That's probably the hardest part of is learning the nomenclature, understanding what the words mean in the owner's manual. And the owner's manual in and of itself, I would say it's less than adequate to get you going on your machine. You got to really if all you have is the owner's manual and a brand new machine, you've never used the machine before, it's going to take you a while to get up to speed on doing stuff. It just really is. And so that's why this course was written, taking that a step further and say, okay, let's just break it down step by step, one step at a time. Number one, do this. Number two, do this. Three, do this. And so, of course, you probably noticed in the course, one of the things I come back to over and over again is have that diagram open that shows what the parts are, so you can really refer back to them. I mean, I don't. The manual is integral to the course, the owner's manual. You need to have the owner's manual along with doing this course, because this course would be way too long if I had to repeat everything that's in the owner's manual. It just would be unwieldy to have to do that. How about you, Willie? Where are you at?
I've had this machine. It's an older 510, and I've had it for a number of years. But I cut a lot of 2x4s, nothing fancy. Using your course to go through and find out all the bits and pieces that I'm missing. I got a big list of things I'm going to have to make an order down to Dayton.
So you're still on the 510 table system, not the 520. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Someday I'll upgrade it. I'd like that Power Pro also. Someday it's on the list.
Okay. Well, of course, that the course is written based everything on the 520 platform. The shopsmith from 72 to 85, those first 13 years was the Model 500. Then the next 14 years from 85 to 99, that was the 510. And then from 99 on, everything's been on the 520 platform. So I didn't upgrade to the 520 system until 2017, which is what's that, 8 years ago. And I remember when the 510 system came out that I thought about upgrading from 500 and 510. And I kept putting it off. And then all of a sudden, 99, they come out with the 520. And I say, boy, I'm glad I didn't go to the 510, because then I'd have to spend money to upgrade again to the 520. But once I made the upgrade to the 520, I'll tell you, I'd never go back. It's a wonderful system. It meets all the needs. I think the thing I really like about the 520 system is you can use it like a traditional table saw. Now, what do I mean by that? On a traditional table saw, your trunnion is fixed. The trunnion doesn't move. It's rock solid, stable. Okay? Shopsmith people are the only people on the planet that think they need to move that quill and move that blade to make their adjustment for their fine adjustment. And you'll notice in this course, you'll never see me telling you to move that blade out of position. Keep it locked a whole time, just like a traditional table saw. Because with the 520 system and the magnetic rules you got on it, I mean, you can get the same accuracy as you could on a traditional table saw. And I also I've watched people try and take and I mean, I've tried it. I don't know how people do it. You they put their tape measure between the fence and the blade. They're trying to hold that tape measure there in place. At the same time, they're trying to advance the quill to get the tooth to line up where they want it, and then tighten that quill up, and at the same time be able to look straight down on it. It's just not possible. It's absolutely not possible. If you do it trying to move that quill, you're always going to be looking at it at an angle, at a parallax angle, and you're never going to get that dead on accurate doing it that way. I mean, if you're just doing general construction work, all you care about to a 16th of an inch, that's fine. But that's just a pet peeve of mine. Other people do it. To me, I tell people don't do it. Leave that quill right where it is. Don't move it. And the course is written around that premise, doing it that way. So, all right. So as far as so has anybody completed the first assignment at all? Has anybody started the first assignment?
Yeah, all the ripping.
On the no, the first assignment is do the alignment.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The first assignment is the alignment. So you finished that one?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then so you started the next one, the ripping one?
Right.
Okay. Any questions on that one? Yeah, I mean it's that if you've already shops with owner of that first one, it seems simple, doesn't it? It seems say, why do you have me do this? This is the simple stuff. Well, yeah, it is simple stuff, but it's part of the basics of learning how to do something the right way. And people who've never done woodworking before, it's not simple stuff to them. It's scary stuff to people that've never done woodworking before. And anyway, so this you can do this at your own pace, however fast or slow you want to do it. And I'll be doing these what we're doing here once a month so that people can ask questions and talk about your experiences or whatever you want to talk about on these. So I have no particular agenda each time. It's really driven by what you guys want to talk about.
So Stephen, can I give you an example of something I've done which kind of made it really interesting, the difference, kind of what you were talking between a shopsmith and a regular table saw.
Right, sure.
So I just built a crosscut sled,
right,
and a pretty nice one. And I wanted it to where I could use it for a regular blade. And then I wanted to use it for my dado set as well. So I wanted it to be able to expand and still have zero clearance between both sets. Okay.
So did you put an insert in the table to do that? Is that what you did?
Yeah. So it was really kind of I saw this from another website, and I was like, that's exactly what I need. So I can do make all kinds of tenons and things like that, and I thought this is going to be really good.
Sure.
So what I did was, after I got it completed, the first cut you actually do was with my regular table saw blade, and that made it square to the fence. So that created the zero clearance. So it was perfectly aligned, with my my arbor.
Sure.
Therefore. Okay.
Sure.
So then what I didn't know, and I should have known, is when I switched arbors and then I switched to the dado set,
right?
it's not the same.
Yeah, because your projection away from the motor is different.
So it was actually like, I don't know, maybe a quarter inch off.
Sure.
So then I had to cut more off
Yep.
of my table. So then, so now uh, my table saw blade has got like a quarter of an inch of space
Sure.
where, to where my dado set is exactly where it should be. So that's just one of the things about a shopsmith, which makes it very unique. And if you don't think of things up front, you're kind of going to get stuck, kind of like I did. I mean, I can still use it, everything, but I have to do a little measuring now instead of.
Sure. I think
So,
the only crosscut sled I have ever made was for doing 45 degrees for picture frames.
mhm.
That's the only one I've ever made. And different people have different views on crosscut sleds. Mark Adams has a school of woodworking, pretty famous, and he teaches about crosscut sleds. The thing he teaches on crosscut sleds, he says, don't spend a lot of time building your crosscut sled. He says you need to treat a crosscut sled as just like a disposable jig, just like every other jig you do. And I mean, he in his school he teaches you how, like in 15 minutes, to make a quick crosscut sled to do a particular function you want to do. Okay, then he says throw it away, and then when you need to do it again, you just make another one, and it uses inexpensive material, and it makes perfect sense. I've seen people that spend literally dozens of hours making an intricate crosscut sled that they want to do everything in the world, and uh, and then one day they find out, okay, well, I no longer have zero clearance because of the run out tolerance on my blade has made it wider, or whatever. Something is it's going to happen eventually. Eventually, you're going to have to replace that crosslet sled. I don't care what one you make. Eventually, you're going to have to replace it. So if you're going to have to replace one, you want to replace one. You want to replace one that you put 45 hours into, or do you want to replace one that you put 5 hours into? So, so for me, I've just not done crosscut sleds. I make sure I use the zero clearance uh, table insert with the saw blade, and that's what I do when I want zero clearance. Dado blades, I don't even worry about zero clearance on dado blades. If you have a good dado set, you're not going to get tear out. The CMT set that Shopsmith sells, that's an awesome dado set. I mean, you'll get so clean that you won't. Even on plywood, I get no tear out whatsoever on those. So, but everybody's got their own preferences, and people are going to do what they want to do. I understand that. So, but that's just my views on it.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I wish would have had that advice before I made it, because I spent some time making it. And it works fine, but it's just a little more work than I thought it would be.
And I got in the habit when doing this course. I mean, when I wrote the course, I would write it. A lot of you don't know this. Some of these assignments, I did them 4 different times. I did 4 different ways some of these assignments. I would do it at certain. I say, well, that works for me because I'm a woodworker and I understand this stuff, but a beginner's not going to be able to do it this way. So I go back and redo it again and redo it 2 or 3 times, and each time, I've got the results of having done it. Well, I quickly got in the habit. I just threw stuff in the trash. You can't believe how much scrap wood I threw out doing this, and I got very quick in the habit of. I mean, that's what the pros do. They don't worry about it. And the other thing I use a lot of MDF. If you're not doing MDF in your projects, you need to, because it's inexpensive, and that's what I do all my test cuts, all my setups, everything I do on MDF, because it's dead on flat. There's no expansion or contraction on it. I can have an MDF in my shop today and come back 3 weeks later and it's dead the same. It hasn't changed one iota because the humidity hasn't changed in my shop or any of that kind of stuff. Looks like Ron had to leave, I guess. But you'll anyway. So I'm going to open up my book here. Just I'll go through. I'm trying to think. Preface, introduction, getting the most out of the course. I think that's where Ron was talking about. Take your time, spending only about an hour at a time, and then take a break. Do not rush or hurry. Enjoy each assignment. I think that's probably just really key. Don't tell yourself, I've got to get all this done today, or I got to get it all done for the next 2 days. Just take your time. And of course, I mentioned here the order of the lessons in the course. All the horizontal operations are done first. You don't have to move that machine in a vertical position at all until you get to lesson 7. Okay, so everything's done in horizontal position until that. That original course, if any of you ever looked at it, I mean, you were just constantly moving your machine up and down and different back and forth and different things, and that just never didn't make any sense to me to do it that way. So, did any of you have any trouble finding the Facebook group and the YouTube channel that's mentioned in the getting the most from the course page?
No,
Those before.
Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, this is the getting the most from the course page which is page 6. Okay, I mentioned in there the Facebook group and also the YouTube channel. Both of those are mentioned on there. Looks like Ron's back now. So, okay. And then the getting ready section, I put that getting ready section there for, as it says, for new people, just so they know the kind of stuff that I use. And then, okay. All right. So anybody have any other questions or comments?
Have you ever used the old wobble dado?
I did. I had that at one time. In fact,
Okay.
I have a Sawsmith radial arm saw with the original 8-inch wobble dado that came with that. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. That is a scary beast to use. I tell you, that is scary. I mean, I've used it, but boy, you got to really be on top of stuff, paying attention, and feeding that really slowly to do that through there. And but of course, back then that's all they had. But yeah, I've used the wobble dado. The problem with the wobble dados, and you talk about the smaller 6-inch one for using on the table saw on the Shopsmith. You don't get a flat bottom. You get a curved bottom on your dados. You don't get a flat bottom. But if you don't care about a flat bottom, it's okay. Anything else? Okay, well, enjoyed it. And we'll do this again first Saturday in June, same time. Okay?
All right.
In the meantime, if you have any questions, if you're in the middle of something and you don't want to wait till then, just shoot me an email. I check my emails every single day. Okay? All right. See y'all later.
All right. Thank you much.
You're welcome.